Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Teacher Hadid, and you are watching me live from Virtual Language Academy. And we have started this session to help the students to improve their English grammar. Right now, it is almost 5 o'clock, and right now I'm speaking in front of you. Well, it's very difficult for me to speak in front of the camera when there is no audience, when I cannot hear to the voices of my is to help serials. I thought let's talk with you and let's make some videos and let's give you some live classes and help you improve your English grammar. So today is the first lesson of this live class, and I will try my best to maintain this live classes and help you improve your English grammar. And I have some students who cannot understand Urdu language, so that is why I would definitely try to speak in English. If you want to watch my live classes in Urdu, you can scroll down or you can search the video lessons on this column, and there are a lot of live classes where I taught English grammar in Urdu. On the other hand, if you want to catch my English grammar class in Urdu, then you can go to my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel under the name Virtual Language Academy, and where I give a lot of Urdu grammar lessons of English language, present tense and past tense, and where to use them and how to use them in Urdu language. So if you're looking for Urdu lessons, then you can search that channel, or you can just scroll down. So in this video lessons, in this video live classes, in this video sessions, my objective is to speak in English. That is why I'm going to speak slow, so you can easily understand whatever I'm speaking with you, whatever the message that I want to share. And on the other hand, if you have any confusion, if you have any question, you can use it on the comment, and I will try my best to answer those questions. I will do my best to cover those topics in my next lesson as well. Since it is the first class of our grammar session, so today I'm going to start with present simple tense, and I'm going to discuss where to use present simple tense. First of all, we will discuss where to use present simple tense, like what is the application of present simple tense, and then we are going to practice some sentences, and then we will wrap up this session. Before we begin our grammar lesson, I have to give you one advice. If you really want to improve your English language, if you really want to improve your grammar, then you have to understand the application of grammar. Here, in Pakistan, especially in Pakistan, where I come from, the problem here is students who are learning English, students who are learning English grammar, they learn by formulation method like subject, verb, object, but they do not focus on the application of that grammar. We know present simple tense, but we don't know where to use present simple tense and what is the difference between present simple tense and present continuous tense. Where should I say is, am, are, or where should I say do and does? So that is the biggest difference, biggest problem we have. So by focusing on this target, I'm going to discuss with you the different applications of present simple tenses, and then we are going to practice. So let's begin. I have written some material for you. I hope you can see my screen. Today we are going to talk about the present simple tense, and before we begin, I want you to think about it. What kind of information do you have about present simple tense? Like, what do you know about present simple tense? Think about it. In Urdu, we learn present simple tense like ta हूँ, ती हैं, ते हैं. That was the lesson I learned when I was in school. Like मैं स्कूल जाता हूँ, मैं खाना खाता हूँ, मैं कंप्यूटर यूज करता हूँ, मैं खेलता हूँ, मैं उठता हूँ, मैं बुक रीड करता हूँ. ता हूँ, ती हैं, ते हैं. But that is a horrible method of learning. But in this lesson, I'm going to discuss where to use present simple tense. So let's begin our class. The first use of present simple tense. So the present simple tense usually talk about activities that we do in our life. It talks about repeating actions, actions that you do on your daily basis, like actions that you do occasionally, or actions that you do once in a month, actions that you do once in a week, your activities, your hobbies, your daily routine. That is the first use of present simple tense, to talk about actions that we do in our life that we keep repeating again and again. Like, I drink water. Every day I drink water, so it is my daily routine. It is my daily activity. Yeah, I use Facebook. So every day, or once in a month, or once in a week, I use Facebook. So it is the activity that I repeat again and again in my life. We also use present simple tense to talk about facts and information, and to talk about statements which are always true. Like a very famous sentence like sun rises from the east and set in west. So that's also a statement. And you can also use present simple tense to talk about your hobbies, like things you like to do and things you don't like to do. For example, I like to use Facebook. I don't like to play cricket, or I don't like to play football. To talk about things you do on your daily basis, we use present simple tense. To talk about things which are facts, which are always true, which are information, like sun rises from the east, set in west, we use present simple tense. To talk about our daily actions, we use present simple tense. And one thing, this is the most important thing that I want to share with you. We use present simple tense to talk about future as well. Like, whenever you talk about future events, we also use present simple tense. But when it comes to future, in English grammar, there are two types of future: planned future and unplanned future. For example, your exam your exam starts at 9 o'clock. So that's a planned future. That is how I know that exam starts at 9 o'clock. But unplanned future, I will call you tomorrow. That's an unplanned future, where you did not plan anything about the activity that you are going to do in the future. So in English language, there are two types of future: planned future and unplanned future. Planned future means that you have think about it. You have thought about that activity. You have thought about your steps, that what are the things that you are going to do. You have set and arranged everything. We call it is a planned future. And when you talk about specific activities that you are going to do in future, and you have no planning, you did not think about it, and you have no idea how to do it or when to start, we call it unplanned future. So when you talk about planned future, you can also use present simple tense. For example, a very common sentence: I do not have class tomorrow. When I say I do not have class tomorrow, I'm talking about tomorrow, which is obviously future, but I'm using present simple tense. Why? Because I'm talking about an event which is planned, or I'm talking about event which is planned that it is not going to happen. For example, easier example, like the train leaves at 6:24. It is not leaving right yet, right? It will leave at 6:24. You can say the train leaves at 6:24, or the tomorrow the meeting starts at 9 o'clock. Yeah, tomorrow the meeting starts at 10 o'clock. When you talk about events which are going to happen and it is already in your timetable, you have already decided, it is already planned. So when you talk about your timetable, when you talk about the events that are going to happen in your timetable in near future, you can also use present simple tense to talk about it. When you talk about your events that are going to happen and you have planned about it, you can also use present simple tense. Easier example, let's say that you're talking about the wedding ceremony of your sister, of your friend. Let's say I'm talking about the wedding ceremony of my sister. So I will say the wedding ceremony starts at 9 o'clock on 11th of May. The dinner session starts at 12:30, and the nikah starts at 12:45. Because it is already arranged, it is already planned, it is already written in our timetable, it is already written on the invitation card. So I can also use present simple tense to talk about it. So far we have talked about present simple tense. Let me give you a revision. We use present simple tense to talk about actions that we do in our daily basis, to talk about actions that we do regularly, or actions that we never do in our life, or actions that we do several times. It is also used to talk about actions that take place one after another action, like in sequence, like I wake up in the morning, after that I brush my teeth, and then I have breakfast. You can also use present simple tense to talk about your future timetable, to talk about future actions that is going to happen, future events which are going to happen in your timetable. You can also use present simple tense. We use present simple tense to talk about your facts, to talk about information, to talk about universal truth. Moving on, before we jump into practice test, I have some, you can say, some activities that I want to share with you. Let's begin. First of all, we use present simple tense to talk about repeating actions. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share some repeating actions, and I want you to listen the way I'm sharing my repeating actions, and then I want you to think about your activities, your actions that you do in your life, that you repeat again and again, actions which are common in your life. Now listen and then try to repeat again. I use Facebook, present simple tense. I play video games, present simple tense. I charge my laptop, present simple tense. I talk with my friends, present simple tense. I take shower, present simple tense. I help my parents to manage the expense of the house, present simple tense. I clean my room, present simple tense. Now I'm going to share my daily activity. I'm going to share my entire routine, my everyday routine, actions that I probably do every day. I'm going to share my routine, and I want you to think about your routine as well. Actions that you do from morning till night. My turn first. So every day I wake up around 10 o'clock in the morning, and after that I take shower, I brush my teeth, I wash my face, and then I talk with my son. My son is 1.5 years old, so I play with my son, and after that I spend some time with my parents, and then I start my online classes. I take online classes, and I give English language class and IELTS class, and after that I I spend more time with my friends. I talk with them, I call them. Because of this lockdown I cannot go out, so I spend time with my friends, I call them, I share my opinions, and I share my day with them. I ask for their advice, and after that I sometimes use Facebook. I try to promote my page. I make posts and videos, and I make videos for my YouTube channel, and then after that I spend some time with my wife, and we try to clean the house, we try to clean my room, and after that I finish my online classes, and I make some lesson plans for my upcoming class, and then I go to sleep. That is my daily routine. Try to make it simple. While you are practicing, try not to make things complicated. Try not to look for difficult sentences. Always try to make things easier for you. That is how you can practice. That is how you can have good control on your sentences. If you are trying to focus on the complex sentences while you are practicing, while you are a beginner student, then it will be difficult for you. So try to make things easier, try to make things simple. So try to make simple and easy sentences so you can speak easily, so you can practice better. Now I have some sentences for you. The thing is, I have to tell you one thing. Present simple tense is easier, like you already know. But you know what happens? While we speak, we make grammatical mistake. Like we know where to use do and does, where to use first form and second form. We already know. It's not something new for us. It's not like an alien subject. But the thing is, at the time we speak, we make grammatical mistake because of lack of practice, because of lack of focus and lack of understanding. So that is why we are going to have this practice, and we are going to arrange these sentences, and I want you to think about it, and then let's solve it together. So I have solved the first question for you. What we have to do here in this test, there are some sentences in front of you, and we are going to arrange it. This is subject, and then there are some verbs, and there are some objects, and then they are not in arranged form, and then we are going to arrange them, and we are going to make them a complete sentence. The first one is I to collect stamps. So the correct sentence would be I collect stamps. Now the second one, we to play card games. Now I'm giving you some time to think. I'm counting till 10, like I'm giving you 10 seconds, and after that, we are going to write the right answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Easy. So the right answer should be play card games. The next one, he to read comics. I'm counting till 5 this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The right answer should be he reads comics. Why we are using he reads comic? Because whenever we talk about third person, whenever you talk about third person singular, like he, she, it, we use s or es with subject, with action. Sorry, like she goes to office, or he plays video game, or Ali uses laptop. Actually, the thing is, like I mentioned before, like right now there is no audience in front of me. I cannot hear the sound of my students, which is the biggest reason. I'm not able to perform my best, because I'm not able to speak in front of the camera when no one is looking. It's difficult for me. It's a kind of like unnatural things. Like I'm pretending to teach English. So that is why there will be a lot of slip of tongues, and I'm going to apologize in advance, because it's difficult for me to pretend that there are students and then I'm just speaking in front of my students. I'm not habitual of it. Anyhow, moving forward. Alright, the next is Chris to sing in a band. So the right sentence should be, okay, first of all, I have to think. Like I'm giving you 5 seconds to think, and then we are going to write. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the correct sentence should be Chris sings in a band. If you say Chris sing in a band, it will be wrong. Like I said, whenever you talk about third person singular, we have to add s and es along with the action. For example, by the way, what is third person? Third person means that I'm not talking to that person directly. I'm talking about that person. Let's say I'm talking about my brother. He he wakes up at 9 o'clock. So I'm not talking to my brother directly. I'm talking about my brother. So that's what we call third person. Third person means you're not talking with them. You're talking sorry. You're talking about them. So whenever you talk about third person singular, whenever you talk about a third person which is singular, which is one, then you have to add s or es along with the action. Where do we use es? When there's a vowel, like this. Uh, he go to office. In this sentence, the word go is wrong. The action go is wrong because he is a third person singular. So that is why we will say he goes to office. And why I'm using goes, why I'm not saying he goes to office, why I'm not adding s, why I am adding es, because o is a vowel, like A, E, I, O, U. So whenever you have vowels, then with vowels you have to use es in this condition. So he goes to office. On the other hand, when I say example, uh, he read books. So when I say he read books, so obviously it will be wrong. But what should be the correct answer? Can I say he reads book? What's wrong with my laptop? No, I cannot say he reads book. Why? Because D is not a vowel. That is why I cannot say he reads book. I have to remove E and I have to say he reads book. So in pronunciation, it will not create a big difference right now. As a beginner, you don't have to think that too much right now. As a beginner, you don't have to pay that much attention on pronunciation. Right now, try to focus on the grammar and then try to focus on your fluency and then try to focus on your pronunciation. What I believe is you grammar takes longer time to improve, fluency takes longer time to improve, but pronunciation is easier to improve. How can you improve your pronunciation? By watching videos, by repeating when a native speaker is speaking. When a person who has a great pronunciation, when they speak, you can just repeat with them and you can improve your pronunciation. But improving grammar and fluency, it takes a lot of time. So that is why, as a teacher, I would recommend, first of all, focus on your grammar, focus on your fluency, and after that, focus on your pronunciation. Anyway, come back to the topic. The next sentence we have is we to have hamster. So what should be the right sentence? I'm giving you 3 seconds to think this time. One, two, three. So the right sentence should be we have a hamster. Back to the next. By the way, why I'm not saying we has, why I'm saying we have. Same rule with singular third person. We should not use have. We should use has. So here I will write it for you. Singular third person like he and she or it, we say has. On the other hand, with I, we, you, and they, we use have. Same rule applies for es or s. With the he or she or it, you have to add s or es, and with I, we, you, they, you don't have to add s or es. On the other hand, same rule applies for do and does. Here you have to use does. With I, we, you, they, you can say does and wait. Alright, let's remove this one first. With I, we, you, they, you have to say do. With he, she, it, you have to say does in negative. For example, he goes to office, negative, he does not go to office. She reads book, negative, she does not read book. I speak English, negative, I do not speak English. We use Facebook, negative, we do not use Facebook. So with I, we, you, they, in negative, we have to use do. With he, she, it, in negative, we have to use does. We will try to focus on this negative sentence as well in few minutes. Now let me rewrite this sentence again. We have a hamster. Now, moving on to the next one. Here you see Andy and John. Like I told you, when you talk about third person singular, then we have to use s or es. But here, I'm not talking about third person singular. I'm talking about third person plural, like they go to office, they speak English. John and Sam read book. John and Sam speak English. So when you talk about third person plural, then you don't have to add s or es. Then simply you can make a simple sentence. Like check me out. Handy, Andy and John like cola. If I say Andy and John likes cola, then it will be wrong. Oh, okay. So the right sentence should be Andy and John like cola. Why? Because Andy and John are third person but not singular. They are third person plural. Or instead of Andy and John, I can also say they like cola. Moving on to the next. She, to be nice. To be means when you talk about to be, it's a kind of verb as well. In present simple, we use to be, and this is the kind of lesson that we are going to discuss in the next video. But I will give you a little bit hint right now. To be is am and are. We use is mr as a verb in this sentence. For example, he is a teacher. So here, teacher object, he subject, and is a verb. So sometimes in present simple tense we use is, am, are as a action, as a verb, and we call it to be. Like I am Pakistani. So I is a subject, am here is a verb. She is a doctor. So she is a verb. They are police officers. So are is a verb here. So when we talk about present simple tense, in present simple tense, we can also use is, am, are as an action to talk about state of anything, to talk about occupation of someone, to talk about quality of someone. It is good, it is bad, or he is a police officer, he is a doctor, to talk about jobs and occupation, to talk about nationalities, to talk about the state. The pen is on my head. These glasses are on my head. So glasses are on my head. So here are is the state of this glass. So we also use ASMR to talk about state, occupations, to talk about identity, to talk about position of something in present simple tense. So here she, instead of to be, I can say she are. No. I can say she am. No. So I can say she is nice. Okay. Moving on to the next one. They, to help their parents. Giving you 3 seconds to think. One, two, three. The right sentence should be they help their parents. Here, if I say they helps their parents, it will be wrong because we use s or es to talk about third person. If it is he, he helps, then oh sorry, he helps his parents, acceptable. If I say she helps, acceptable. If I say Ali helps, acceptable. But when I say they helps, it will be wrong. So that is why, because like I told you before, when you talk about third person plural, then we don't have to use s or es. So here's the rule: I, we, you, they. We don't use s or es. He, she, it, or any singular name, we use s or es. So it is they. So they help their parents. Moving on, the children to speak English. I'm giving you 3 seconds to think. What should be the right answer? The children to speak English. One, two, three. If I write, it's a tricky one, by the way. If I write this sentence, will be wrong. Why? Because this children is not singular. Child is singular. If I say child, it is singular, third person singular. But when I talk about children, it is not singular, it is plural, it is third person plural. So instead of children, I can also say they. So that is why the right sentence should be speak the children speak English. If I say the child, then I say the child speaks English. Moving on to the next one. I to buy a newspaper every day. A very simple one. 3 seconds. One, two, three. The right sentence should be I buy a newspaper every day. Every Saturday. Alright. Still, it feels weird that right now there is no one in the room and I'm speaking in front of camera. It's like I'm speaking with a robot, something. Huh. Anyway, okay, fine. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to do it very quickly, and we are going to use some sentences and some present simple tense sentences, and we are going to practice negative sentence. But let me give you a little bit of explanation. When we talk about present simple, then in negative we have to use do or we have to use does. But here's one thing, like as a second language speaker, like we are second language speaker. So let's say that English is our second language, right? So I would say that there are some common mistakes that we do. We know that it is wrong, but because of lack of focus, because of lack of practice, we make these kind of mistakes. So in present simple, this mistake is very common. Whenever we talk, I have observed that a lot of the students they make the same mistake. Like instead of do, they use does. So when they have to use does, they use do. They mix them, while they're speaking. For example, he do not go. It's a wrong sentence, but because of lack of practice or lack of focus, we make these kind of sentences. I would say that in present simple, affirmative sentences are quite easy. We don't make mistake in them. But in negative sentences, sometimes I have observed that students make mistake. So that is why we are going to pay a little bit attention on negative sentences. Now, there are some affirmative sentences, and then we have to change them into negative, just for your practice and for your revision. By the way, it is our first live class, so I'm a little bit, you can say, how should I say? I'm a little bit uncomfortable, and there are some lessons which are very simple and easy, but that's how our class goes. So we are starting a simple topic, and we will go from simple to difficult, from easier to difficult, simple to complex sentences. So right now the topic is very easy for you, but with the passage of time, with the different classes, our level, the topic will be difficult. But if you practice these topics, focus on each and every lesson and practice it daily, it will be easier for you. I have to share one thing. My teacher used to tell me that knowing the path and following the path are two different things. In Urdu, रास्ता पता होने में और रास्ते पे चलने में फर्क होता है. How why I'm saying this expression here, because even when you know these grammar, it does not mean that you are using it in your sentences. When you know something and when you know these language expressions, when you know these grammar expressions, these grammar functions, and when you use them in your speaking are two different things. Having the knowledge and using the knowledge are two different things. I would suggest that try to focus on using it. So that is why if you feel like this lesson is easier for you, it means that and you're not using it, then you're wasting your time. So what you have to do is, even the this language function, even this class is easier for you, I want you to practice it and I want you to use it in your speaking. Otherwise your entire video session, my entire effort will be useless. So let's begin. Coming back to the topic, it's kind of my habit, like while I speak, I start giving a speech, like, and I go off the topic. It comes with teaching. Now, my father makes breakfast. How should I say a negative sentence of my father makes breakfast? Here, if I say my father make breakfast, it will be wrong. And why it is wrong? Because I'm talking about my father, singular person. My father makes breakfast. Negative sentence. When there is a third person, when we talk about he or when we talk about she, we use does. When we talk about I, we, you, and they, we use do. Here, my father, I'm talking about third person because I'm not talking to my father, I'm talking about my father, and it's he, singular. So I will say negative, so does not. So negative sentence should be my father does not, and then I have to remove this s. When we make a negative of present simple tense of third person singular like s or es, and then in negative with does not, we should not repeat this s word again. That is the rule. So my father makes big here is Pakistani thing. We it's a very common technique that for you to remember. Like let's say that in do I'm adding es, so it become does. So if I add es here, then I there is no need to add s or es again with the action. Just for you to remember, there's a simple technique like when you have already s or when you have already add s or es in do, which become does, then there is no point of adding s or es again with action. So that is why with does we don't repeat s or es again, we eliminate the s or es from the sentence. So my father makes breakfast, so negative should be my father does not make breakfast. Second one, they are 11. Like here are is to be, they are 11. Here are is verb. They are 11, negative, they are not 11. Simple. I cannot use are and does. I cannot use are and do. So they are simple negative, not 11. The next one. She writes a letter. She writes a letter. So what do you think? Do or does? Think. Obviously does because it is she. Third person singular. So she writes a letter. Negative should be she does not. And then if I write this word here, she writes, she does not write a letter, it will be wrong. Why? Like I told you before, we don't use to s when there's a does. When there's a does in the sentence, then there is no need to repeat s or es with action. So we eliminate the s when there is does in the sentence. So she writes a letter, negative, she does not write a letter. Moving on. I speak Italian. Negative, simple because it is I, so we say I do not speak Italian. Easier, right? We're about to finish, and after this live session, I'm going to watch a TV serial, or maybe I will sleep. Anyway, Danny phones his father on Saturday because I'm talking about Danny. Sorry for that. I'm talking about Danny. I'm not talking with Danny. I'm talking about Danny. So Danny is a third person and Danny is singular. I can say Danny or I can say he. So that is why, and there is S also in the sentence, which means I have to use does here because phone and phones. So S. So right. So negative of this sentence would be Danny and then does. What happened? Does not, and then there is no need to say phones again. So the right sentence should be Danny does not phone his father on Sunday, on Sundays, like upcoming Sundays that usually comes every week, every Sunday. So instead of every Sunday, he's saying Sundays. I can say Danny phones his father on every Sunday, or I can say Danny phones his father every Sundays. Instead of phones, you can also say calls. It will be also acceptable. In Pakistan, we don't say phones, but it does not mean it is wrong. It's common. You can Google it. All right, let's jump to making questions. How to make a question in present simple tense. There's a basic rule in English grammar that whenever you have to make a question in English sentences, then what you have to do is you have to use helping verb before subject and then subject. All right. It means that it means I will make it easier for you. This one is irritating me. Yes, it means that do or does and then subject. For example, I speak English. Negative, I do not speak English. When I have to make a question, so I have to add do before I. So I do not speak English. The question should become, do I speak English? I do not use Facebook. So I use the word do first and I later. So the question should become, do I use Facebook? I do not drink coffee. So the question should be, do I drink coffee? She does not speak Italian. The question should be, does she speak Italian? She does not play cricket. The question should be, does she play cricket? So, you to speak English. Let's make a question directly. With you, what do we use? Do or does? I hope until now it will be clear. Till now it will be clear. So, if it is not, then let's practice together. With you, what do we use? Do or does? What should be the right sentence? What should be the right question? Obviously do. So like I told you before, like whenever you make a sentence, whenever you make a question sentence in English, then you have to use helping verb before subject. So do is the helping verb here because subject is you, so that is why we cannot say does, we have to say do. And then after do we use subject, like do you speak English? And I have to, when he to go home. When he to go home. The right sentence, the right question should be, when you see these kind of WH questions like when, what, where, how, there is no problem. Use when, what, where, how. When, what, where, how, whom. Add WH questions and after that add helping verb. After that add subject and then action. For example, I wake up in the morning. Negative, I do not wake up in the morning. Question, do I wake up in the morning? WH question, when do I wake up in the morning? I use Facebook. I do not use Facebook. Do I use Facebook? WH question, what do I use? Simple. So the rule remains same. So whenever you want to make a question, then helping verb should come before subject. If there is what, when, how, where, then start with what, when, how, where. After that, add helping verb and then add subject. So when should be the first? When. Because we have he here, so that is why we cannot say do. We have to say does. He does. So the right sentence, the right question should be, when does he go home? You can also say when does he go to home, but go home is fine, acceptable. All right, the moving on to the next one. They to clean the bathroom. Wow. They to clean the bathroom. What should be the right question? With they, we don't use does, we use do. So do, and then they subject. Do they clean bathroom? Oh, that's here it is. To the clean bathroom. Not something that I can do. Where is she to ride her bike? I'm giving you 3 seconds to think, and then we are going to solve this question. We are going to arrange the question. One, two, three. Let's begin. The right question should be, where And then with she, we use does, where does she ride her bike. Uh, all right, moving on. This one, I'm giving you 3 seconds to think, and then I'm going to solve it for you. You know the drill. Bully to work in the supermarket. Bully to work in the supermarket. Billy to work in the supermarket. What should be the right question? Let's begin. Billy is singular, right? Third person, because I'm not talking to Billy, I'm talking about Billy. So I can say Billy, I can say he, same thing. So I will say does, I cannot say do. All right, I am writing like this. Does Billy work? I cannot say works because with does we have to eliminate the s from the action. So does Billy work in the supermarket? Voila, here it is. Easier. Before this single word, I have to discuss one thing with you. There are some words like one word that can also represent present simple tense. Single word which represent present simple tense. For example, every day. We cannot use every day for past tense. For future tense, it's a present simple tense. Sometimes, it's a present simple tense. Whenever you use sometimes, it means you're talking about your daily routine. Whenever you use usually, we talk about daily routine. Whenever you use always, we talk about daily routine. There are specific words that always describe present simple sentences, that always describe repeating actions. So there are some single words just for your clarification that I have gathered for you. I want you to think, observe, watch, and tell me what what is the right word that describes present simple tense from these options. Which is the single word of present simple tense? Can I say last Monday? Last Monday does not talk about present simple tense. It will be wrong. Can I say now? Now does not talk about present simple tense. Now talk about present continuous tense, like I am teaching right now. But often talks about present simple tense. For example, how often do you go to office? Yeah, I often read books. It means I usually read books. So often, when you use often in the question, it means I'm talking about how many times. Like, how often do you pray namaz? I pray namaz 5 times a day. Do you often watch English TV serials? Yes, I sometimes watch English TV serials. So we use often to talk about how many times. So we use often always in present simple sentence. Whenever there's an often word, we will easily analyze that it is a present simple sentence. It is a daily routine activity. It's a daily routine sentence. Number two, which is a single word for present simple sentence. Sometimes at the moment, yesterday. Yesterday for past, at the moment right now, which is a present continuous. So obviously sometimes is the right answer. Okay. Sorry. Next one. Which is a single word for present simple tense. Last Friday, nah. Last Friday cannot be because last Friday means yesterday, past. Every Friday, yes. Next Friday will be future. So every Friday is the right sentence. Every Friday. So whenever there's a every Friday in a sentence, it means you're talking about present simple sentence. Which is not, here it is tricky, which is not a single word for present simple sentence. Which is not a single word for present simple sentence. Usually is a single word that we use in present simple sentence. Never is a single word that we use in present simple sentence, but already, yes, we do not use already in present simple sentence. Why? Already talks about action that happened, that is finished. I have already talked with you, action completed. So already talk about action which has happened, which is completed. and it means that you're talking about past. So we use already to talk about past. We do not use already to talk about present simple tense. We do not use already to talk about daily routine actions. Moving on, the last one, which is not a single word for present simple. Listen first and then seldom, which is not a single word for present simple sentence. Seldom means sometimes. First and then, you can also use it in present simple sentence. From these three words, tell me which word that we cannot use in present simple sentence. Obviously, listen. Listen is for imperative sentence, like you are giving order to someone. Hey, listen, you see this exclamation marks? It's order. Listen, listen to me. It's that kind of listen. It's not like I listen to my parents. It's not an action here. It is an order. It's You see this exclamation mark? It is an order. It's with exclamation, with emotion. Listen, like that. When someone is giving you order. All right. So that is the end of my session here today. Let me give you the revision. Today in this classroom, in this live classroom, when I was a little bit uncomfortable because I cannot listen what you are saying, and I'm not habitual of it, and I do not like to speak like that. But just to utilize my time, I was watching TV serials. So I said, okay, instead of watching TV serials, like let's talk with you online, and let's do something productive, teach you something. So that is why we are having this live session. So today in this live session, we talk about present simple sentence. We talk about where to use present simple sentence. The first one, to talk about repeating action. Whenever you use present simple sentence, whenever we use present simple sentence, it means I'm talking about my daily routine activity. Present simple sentence talk about daily routine. It talks about repeating activities, actions that you do again and again in your life. You use present simple sentence. And then we use present simple sentence to talk about facts, to talk about universal law, to talk about something which is always true. For example, he is a good student. Present simple sentence. Sun rises from the east, set in the west. Present simple sentence. Sets in the west. Um, the sun revolves around the sun. Oh, sorry, the earth revolves around the sun. Present simple sentence. Earth revolves around the sun. It's a fact, universal law. We also use present simple sentence to talk about future events, but planned future events. Like I told you, there are two types of future: planned future and unplanned future. In present simple sentence, we talk about planned future events, like tomorrow the meeting starts at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow, our live session starts at 5 a.m. That's a planned future event. Like tomorrow, our live session starts at 5 a.m. Like I do not have class tomorrow. That's also a present future sentence, present simple sentence, which is talking about future event. So whenever you talk about future event which is planned, any activity, any event, not action but event, any event which is in your timetable that you are going to do in future, to talk about starting or ending point of those events, you can also use present simple sentence. And then we discussed, like with I, we, you, they, we use do. With he, she, we use does. Like with third person singular, third person means that you are not talking with them, you're talking about them. We call it third person. First person means I'm a speaker. Speaker says, first person means I, which is like a speaker. Like I'm speaking, it means I am the first person. First person singular, like I. First person plural, like we. When two people are speaking together, we can say we. We are talking with you. Two people, we. We is first person plural. Second person means listener, like you. You are listening to me, so you are the second person. Second person could be singular and plural both. You is for singular and you is for plural. That is why we use you are to talk about you is for singular and plural. So we always consider you as a plural pronoun. So you is second person, I, we is first person, and he, she, they is third person. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Now, I'm also tired and bored in front of speaking with a camera. So, let's wind up this classroom, and inshallah, I'm making a promise to you that I will try my best to give you one live session every day. Today we talk about present simple tense. In the next class, we'll talk about present continuous tense. We are going to practice it together, and we will practice it every day. And then we jump to passive voice, and then we jump to, you can say, causative verbs. The grammar will go from easier to difficult. That's how we are going to proceed. We will go from easier lesson to difficult lesson. It will be boring for me, obviously, because I'm speaking in front of camera. So it will be uncomfortable. I will make some common mistakes. So my apologies in advance, because I'm not habitual of speaking in front of camera. I'm habitual of speaking in front of students. Last announcement, a little bit marketing about my company, about my institute. Like I run this virtual language academy where we give online classes via Zoom and WhatsApp. So if you are interested in taking online class, then in online class we can talk together. You can listen to me and I can listen to you. We can practice together. I can analyze your mistakes. I can give you feedback. So that's how we take online classes. So if you want to join my online class, you can WhatsApp me on my number. You will find my WhatsApp number on my page. We give online classes for English language, advanced grammar, public speaking, IELTS exams preparation. Like if you're planning to if you study abroad, you're planning for immigration, then you have to give this IELTS exams. So we help you to get higher bands like 8 or 8.5 or 7 or 7.5 or 9 bands in your IELTS exams with practice. Like we are not giving you guarantee, but we help you to improve your speaking skills, reading skills, writing skills, and you will be able to get higher bands. That's how we practice. That's how we talk. So if you want to join our online class, you can join our online classes for IELTS, public speaking, advanced grammar, fluency development classes, and basic English. Allah Hafiz. See you in the next lesson. Bye bye. Tomorrow we are going to have live session again at the same time, 5 a.m. Pakistan time. I enjoy.